Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm here with Marina. She's just released her first single of the year titled Sunsets and Rieslings, and I am super excited to talk to her about it. Marina, thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. What's new in your part of the world?
Uh, things are slowly starting to get back to normal, which is so nice. I can go to my yoga class and I don't have to wear a mask while I practice. So that's been like the
Ooh,
highlight of my world right now. So
is Colorado back to whatever normal is?
yeah, pretty much. So
Dang.
it's really nice. It's feeling so much better.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
obviously, I want to talk about your music. And the first thing that I want to talk about is so, this is the first single of the year for you. And it looks like the other two singles that you've released were more acoustic tracks. So, is this a new direction for you in terms of sound?
Yeah. No, I'm glad you mentioned that actually. So I actually had a demo that I released a few years ago. But just like the production wasn't really exactly where I wanted it.
Hmm.
So I actually just recently took down that old demo and I just left up these acoustic tracks. But the studio that I'm working with right now, that produced Sunsets and Rieslings, I'm going to work with them to re-record these acoustic tracks into like full scale production songs. So I'm really
Oh,
excited about
sweet.
that because this is like the first time that I found like producers that do such amazing work like locally here in Colorado. So I'm super
Oh, they're
stoked.
local to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're up in Evergreen. They're called the Spot Studios. They're amazing.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask about the production a little bit later, but you know what? Let's talk about it right now.
Yeah.
So the song itself it's smooth, it's crisp, and it's clear. So they've done a great job. I love the sort of like R&B pop sound you've got going. Is this a sound that you want to sort of go on in the future? And is are those acoustic tracks going to transform into that?
Kind of, yeah, yes and no.
Okay.
So definitely all my songs will have like a very strong pop feel,
Hmm.
which will be great. But I do have some songs that are just kind of just very different on their own, almost in like their own genre. Like one of the acoustic tracks that I'm going to record is a ballad, and so
Okay.
that's going to be very less poppy, more like big vocalist ballad, like think like a Celine Dion ballad or something like that. That's kind
Okay.
of
Okay.
probably what that's gonna go sounding like. But then one of the other tracks, that one is still gonna be pretty poppy and probably have like a I don't know, like an EDM-y, chain smokers-y kind of vibe, that
Okay.
sort of thing. Yeah. So each song is just so different. This one just
Yeah,
kind of landed in the pop R&B vein, which I absolutely love. Um,
totally.
but yeah, but we'll see kind of like where the other songs come to be. But pop will always be kind of my thing.
Right. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
say this all the time, but like you don't want to just make one certain sound, especially because I mean, what is a genre anymore when people can do anything that they want? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. So
Mhm.
say do what you do what makes you happy, and that's really all that matters.
Definitely. For
Another
sure.
thing was I love sunsets and I love Riesling wine, but is there a deeper meaning to the song? What's it all about? And can you kind of dig into that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that. Yeah, so this song, I actually wrote it, like I wrote it during quarantine in the pandemic. The song is about a guy that I dated for 2 months, couple years ago.
Okay.
It was like one of the first guys that I started dating when I started doing the whole online dating thing and all that stuff. So he's one of
Sure.
the first people that I matched with. Yeah, and we like dated for 2 months, and I thought things were going somewhere. I mean, obviously, like we'd been intimate, like all of those
Yeah.
things. And then the jerk ghosted me after 2 months of seeing each other. So yeah, that hurt
Damn.
real bad. So that's what the song that's what the song is about.
Got it. So I assume that you texted him the final product as soon as it was finished,
That's
right?
funny. It's so funny you say that. I didn't know. I like, oh man, I really, really hope he hears it. Like, I feel like
I
with like the
mean,
number of people that like share my song who are my friends and friends of friends, I feel like he'll see it come up somewhere on his feed somewhere. But I
I mean,
haven't heard him at all.
I don't want to dig too much into it, but is this a person that is a friend of a friend that happened to find on a dating app, or like, is there a possibility that he
You
would see it?
know, it was literally just a guy. We just matched on the dating app.
Sure.
I think the only connection we had through social media was that like my yoga teacher was like friends with one of his friends, and we were like, "Wow,
Right.
what a
That's
small world!" Like that was
still pretty
it.
far out.
It's pretty far out, yeah. But who knows? I'm telling myself, if this song goes somewhere, he'll hear it. He will hear it one
I
day
think he'd
and
be
be like,
flattered. I
"I
say, you know what,
think so."
if you're feeling like he should know, just text it. You know, it's a power move, if anything.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll think about it. We'll see.
totally, yeah. Do what you gotta do. Moving along. So instrumentally, though, there's a lot going on here, and obviously your vocals kind of take over. So first off, congrats on that. Super commanding and like empowering. Do you play anything, or did you add anything else to the mix besides your voice?
I did not. No. In general, I play piano a bit. I
Nice.
say a bit because it's been a long time since I've like really like
Sure,
practiced
sure.
and played, you know. So these days when I'm writing, I usually like I play I'll play the piano when I'm writing my music, but in general, like I don't really ever accompany myself or anything like that. So I just wrote out my like my chord progressions and my melodies and all of that stuff. And then my piano player, he put it together in like sheet music format, and that's what I gave
Nice.
my producers to work with. So they
Gotcha.
laid down all the tracks with like the guitar and the bass and the piano and all that stuff, and I just I sang my melody and harmonies and all that.
Nice. Well, I mean, it turned out great. So,
Yeah,
and one other thing that I'd like to know is that because you're making music that is so grand and there's like I was saying, like there's so many genre influences, who is it inspired after, someone specifically, or like who do you listen to kind of get in the mood of creating?
that's a really really good question. So for a long time, like with this particular song, like obviously like I wrote it, I had the sheet music, and I practiced it just with piano and all that. And
Right.
I was thinking like, okay, like I want to bring like amazing production to this, like, and I was struggling to figure out like who, like what direction do I want to go in, like who do I kind of want to emulate
Yeah.
with the song, um so I actually randomly was I was just listening to my Spotify one day,
Sure.
and Fletcher came on, who
Okay.
I had only recently discovered, and I love her. And her song "Bitter" came on, and I was like, "That is the production I want for Sunsets and
That's the
Rieslings.
sound.
That is the sound that is fantastic. It's like sexy, it's aggressive, it's
Awesome.
like fun."
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's what I sort of stole a little bit of her vibe for Sunsets.
that's okay. I still think it has its own vibe to it. And honestly, like, yeah, no one's inventing new things nowadays. It's sort of just like, you know what I'm saying? So,
I do. Yeah, we're not reinventing the wheel.
right. Okay. So here's like sort of a two-part question.
Yeah, yeah.
First question here is, how long have you been creating music for?
A long time. I've been writing and recording music since I was, gosh, like high school, early
Oh, wow.
college.
Okay.
Yeah, a long time for sure.
Nice. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So then the follow-up to that is, was
Yeah.
there a specific either artist or a specific album that you listened to that you were like, this is so moving, this is so inspiring that I need to make my own music?
Yes, yes. I'm like slightly like embarrassed to give my answer because it's so cheesy and
Don't
my
be.
girlfriends laugh at me, but I'm like, well, I'm sorry, like this is it.
Okay.
um
I'm ready.
yeah.
I won't
So
laugh.
um I'm a really big Katy Perry fan, and
Okay.
I really believe that the Teenage Dream album is like the best pop album that was ever created. So,
Debatable, but it is a solid album. I won't say that I haven't listened to it multiple times. Okay, so then you were just like, yeah, this is it. This is
and
amazing. I need to make
yes,
my own.
yes, I was like, this is such good pop music. Like the songs are moving, they're inspiring, they're like some of them are really emotional, some of them are really fun.
Sure.
Like she covers the entire spectrum of pop pretty much on that
Yeah.
album. And yeah, I think when I first heard Teenage Dream, I got a little teary eyed because I was like, this
Oh
is an
no,
amazing pop song. Like, I
she's
want to write a
speaking
pop
to
song like
me.
this.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally, I get that.
Yeah. So my friends make fun of me. They're like, oh, Jesus. I'm like, hey, don't hate.
You know what? I don't think that there's such thing as guilty pleasure music. Like no one should be shamed for the music that they listen to. If it brings you joy, joy is so hard to come by nowadays. Like if you want to go back to an album that came out 10, 20, 30 years ago and it makes you happy, that's what matters. So,
I don't
you keep
agree.
listening and yeah, keep doing that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, thank you, Austin.
yeah, you're super welcome. In terms of actually making the music itself, do you have a certain process that you follow, or do you just sort of start creating based off, like a lyric pops in your head, or you're singing in the shower, or whatever it might be?
Yeah, yeah. Um, my process is very, very muse inspired. So like some sort of melody or something will come
Hmm.
into my head oftentimes. And so then at that point, usually I'll go to my keyboard and I will kind of explore that and like I'll find the melody and kind of
Yeah.
just like sing it in my head. Then at that point, usually I'll build some sort of chord progression from that melody and be like, is
Okay.
this working? Is this not? And just kind of get that solidified. But for the most part, it usually starts with just a melody that comes to mind, and that's usually the chorus for whatever it is that I'm writing.
Oh, nice. Okay. Are
Yeah.
you one
So
of those people that's like walking down the street and something pops in your head and you whip out your phone and like sing into the voice memos app or something like that?
yes, that's
Okay.
funny you said that. Yes, totally. I whip out that app and I will just hum something, sing something or whatever, and then later I'll come back to it and I'll explore that
Nice.
idea.
Yeah, you can't let those ideas go. Sometimes those can be the best, depending.
Yes, and you always think you're gonna remember them. You don't.
No, absolutely not.
Never.
That will
They
never
go away.
happen. That's why
Yep.
technology exists, so we don't have to remember anything anymore.
Yep.
Okay,
That's
so
accurate.
so tell me this. You've taken this path as a musician. You're making music, you're doing it. What is the thing that you enjoy the most about being an artist and a creative as a whole?
That is a good question. I think the thing I love the most is, I mean, I really love performing. Like I love performing and I love
Okay.
to see when the final product really comes together.
Hmm.
That's probably the biggest thing, like seeing my vision come to life and then being able to, well, perform that vision on stage.
Of
Like,
course.
yeah,
Of
right.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally. That's probably, I think, the biggest thing I really, really love. It's also just very therapeutic creating. You kind of get a little piece of your soul out on paper and then into an MP3 file, which is fun. And
A lot of time. A lot of
yeah,
time and energy spent to just have this
yeah,
little file.
yes, yes. But it always turns out so awesome, and it's just like this little piece of you that you've created. So yeah, I think just seeing the vision is my favorite part. I know, like, what so as I was telling you with Sunsets and Rieslings, um, that was the first song that I did with these producers in
Right.
Evergreen. And I remember when we finished, I was just like, okay, great, and when you're actually recording and in the studio, like I remember like he didn't put any effects or any reverb on my voice. So things sounded pretty raw as I'm
Yeah,
singing them.
yeah.
Like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. And then later, when it was done being mixed and mastered, like he sent me a message and said, "Hey, like the song's in the Dropbox. Like I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm really curious to know what you think." And I was just like, "Okay, whatever." And then later on that night, I got my Bose headphones out, and I was like, "Okay, I'm really gonna listen. I'm really gonna be critical." And I listened to this song, and I started crying because I was like, "This is
Oh,
amazing.
yes.
There's nothing wrong with this. It's perfect." So I was
That's when
so
you
happy.
know that's amazing. You found a good producer. Those are hard to come by. There's a lot of crap out there. Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome. What a moment though.
yeah, it was really cool. I was happy.
Going back to what you said about performing though, are there plans to get out there and even do some local shows of what you've released so far?
There will be. I
Mhm.
don't have anything set up yet,
Sure.
but I definitely want to. I'm probably thinking like end of summer, early fall. I need to kind of need to get together with my piano player and get some other session players
Yeah,
together to, start practicing and getting a set
right.
together. But yes, in the near future for sure, just not quite yet. It's kind of gathering all the puzzle pieces together.
Gotcha. Is that how you envision it though? Not just you on stage, but like a full band setup?
That is ideally what I'd really like, is to have a full
Okay.
band. Because for the longest time, it was just me and my piano player, and it was just like an acoustic set, which I think is fun, but just kind of boring, and it doesn't like bring the exact energy that I want.
I get that.
Yeah. So
But
yes,
what vibe are you going for? Like club type vibe? Like you want people dancing? Do you want people like slowly swaying back and forth? Like what are you looking for?
both,
Okay.
both. Yeah,
Okay.
totally. Yeah, I want people to like get into it, and I want it to feel like obviously like I don't have the budget for like a
Well,
huge
yeah, of
venue
course.
style show, but like I still want it to feel like a real concert, and people get into
Absolutely.
it, and like it feels like, oh, she's a pop singer, she's not an acoustic singer, she sings pop. Like,
Right.
and they're getting that vibe from the music and all the instrumentation and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, you can do that on a low budget. There's plenty of like little things that like can make a show, you know? I get that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm kind of just like learning this a little bit. Because I remember talking to my producer, I was like, okay, so what do I do if I've got my piano player and we have a bass player, but there's no guitarist and there's no drums. And he's like, I can help you. We're gonna make you a performance track. So you tell me who you have, we
There
take
you
out those
go.
instruments and we put in the instruments you need. And I'm like,
That's
perfect.
awesome.
Yeah. So
Saving lives.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
is there like an overarching message of what you think that your music says about you as a person?
That's a good question. I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty emotional person, so I would say that's probably what people hear is like, wow, she's full of emotions,
All right. All right.
which is true.
But that
Yeah,
usually translates pretty well to music. You can't just be like a super insular, isolated. I mean, you can be, but like, I don't know. It just depends on how you are as a person.
yeah, no, totally, for sure. Yeah, I would say, yeah, it just showcases that I'm a pretty emotional person, and really my goal with my music has always been that I want the song to move someone in some sort of way.
Sure.
That's pretty much the goal, is that like it connects people. It connects people on an emotional level, and that's always what I'm going for. So I think I've been able to do that pretty well, especially with with these amazing producers. So I'm excited to like create more and see where the rest of my songs go. So
Right.
yeah.
I think that's definitely the goal. And you know, the goals are always changing and the goal posts are always changing. So what you say right now, what you think right now, it could change. Who knows?
Yeah.
Next release, you could be a completely different person.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
It's true. Yeah, totally. For sure.
So hypothetically speaking, let's say who would a dream collaboration be for you? It could be either like someone to help produce a song, someone to feature on a verse, or even just to like play an instrument.
That's a great,
And
great
it can't
question.
be Katy Perry because that's way too easy of an answer.
No, I don't know how much you'll like my next answer because I think it's
Oh
also
geez.
pretty cheesy, but that's okay. Um, I really love Ryan Tedder. I think he's like amazing. Like if he said, Marina, I'd like to produce your song, I would die.
I don't know who that is.
He's the lead singer of One Republic.
Oh, I just didn't know his name. He's super
Yep.
talented.
He's amazing, right? Like
Yeah, okay. So would it
they're
be like a
amazing.
duet style
Yeah,
or
totally. I could see a duet and he would
okay.
produce the whole thing.
All
Yes, that
right.
would be amazing. Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Slightly going back to the touring,
Mhm.
another little hypothetical question for you. So let's say next week the venue manager emails you and he's like, "Hey Marina, we got a spot open. We're super excited, but you've only got one song to play. You only get a one song set list. Of what you've made and what you have planned in the future, what's the one song you're going to play to wow the crowd?"
I mean, probably sunsets and Rieslings because
There,
it's
good
ready.
answer.
Yeah, it's ready. It's produced. It sounds solid. Like I know exactly like the the style and the energy I want to bring for when I will perform that song. So that song for sure right now. So once I
Nice.
have more songs under my belt, like fully produced and ready to go,
Sure.
I'm sure that'll change, of course. But right now, definitely Sunsets and Rieslings.
Would you ever incorporate any like cover songs into your set to extend
Yeah,
it or anything like that?
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I actually have like a handful of like pop covers that I sing when I
Sweet. Of
perform. Yeah, for sure. I love Kelly Clarkson, so I usually put
course.
in a couple Kelly songs in my sets.
I feel like that's
I
good karaoke go to as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
just for like someone who's like hammered at 4 a.m. singing karaoke, maybe not professionally, but yeah, that would
Yeah.
be great. What in specific?
She's got this really beautiful song called Beautiful Disaster that
Mhm.
I've sung before in my sets. It's just like a really beautiful piano ballad. So I always do that one. And then I really love Cups by Anna Kendrick. I love Pitch Perfect.
Sure,
So I always
sure.
put that song in my sets too, because most people know it and it's really light and fun and
Nice.
stuff.
That'll
Yeah.
engage a crowd for sure.
Yeah, totally. So just yeah, kind of here and there, different little pop things. I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry. Gotta have a Katy Perry song.
Nice. Well, yeah, obviously. Got to have the
Yeah,
queen in there.
yes,
Get
totally.
that.
Yeah,
Cool. Well, yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. So if you ever get out to California, please let me know.
totally, for sure.
Okay, so super deep question for you.
Yeah,
We are a little less than halfway through this year, which is wild.
I know,
But
right?
setting aside the music for a moment, what are some non-musical goals that you've set for yourself in order to better yourself as a person for the rest of this year?
I love that. That's a really, really good question. Um, well, let's see. I definitely want to kind of get into better shape. I'm going to say get into better shape because every woman is always like, I want to lose weight, which is such a cliche answer, but I just want to get into good shape and kind
Sure.
of get back into my yoga practice a little bit more. I'm a yogi. So,
Nice, nice.
yeah, so start practicing a little bit more frequently. Um, I'm big into meditation as well. So I'm trying to kind of be consistent with my meditation practice and try to meditate every day. Sometimes I'm really good and I'll have stretches where I'm great and then there'll be a break and I stop and you can always tell like after you've been doing something regularly, you're like, why did I stop? So just try to get back into that. Um, I'd say those are two big things that I'm kind of focusing on is just
Sweet.
like, yeah, yeah, I'd say those are my big ones. Trying to think if there's anything else that I can speak to.
I
Really just
say
kind of
I
get,
say baby steps for
yeah,
everyone.
maybe, yeah, no, that's a good way to
Focus
put it.
on what if you focus on too much, then it just gets lost in the mix.
It does,
Got
yeah.
100% focus on something. So
Yes,
I get
yes.
you.
No, you're right, for sure. And just to like keep being creative because honestly, like with last year with the pandemic hitting, like that was like the first time I'd really gotten back into my music. Like I had stopped writing, I had stopped
Yeah.
performing, I hadn't done anything for years. And so the pandemic, like life was put on hold. And I was like, you know what? Like this is a great time to be creative again and start up again.
Yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone. There's been such a resurgence in people. I mean, even like independent artists who have never put out anything before trying their hand at it for the first time because it's just them and their computer and GarageBand. And then even going up to the top where the biggest artists on earth like uncovering old demos and putting out b-sides that never saw the light of day because they're just sitting around like the rest of us. And
Yep.
so yeah, I think that maybe I think we're seeing a lot of like major releases right now, but in the next year or two, just going to see another like art renaissance of everyone's experience over the past year. And whether it's good or bad, there's going to be a lot of stories to
Oh
listen
yeah,
to. So, but I'm
totally.
excited for it because what's better than just constant music release?
Exactly, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Speaking of that, though, because we're a music blog and a music publication, what have you been listening to? What's been on your playlist? New, old, anything?
Yeah, yeah. So I recently found this little like independent duo that's really amazing. So it's like a married couple. They're a pop duo. They're called YVR. So
Okay,
I've been listening to them a lot.
sweet.
Yeah, you should look them up. I actually found them on
Oh, wow.
Instagram as random
Okay.
as it is.
They
And
just like
like
pop up. Oh, they just popped up like
it
on
just popped up. Yeah,
something.
it just popped up on my
Sweet.
feed and I clicked on it. I was like, this song is gorgeous. And I started listening to all their stuff. Like they're so
Awesome.
good. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. They're based
Cool.
out of LA. You could probably interview them.
All right.
So,
I'll yeah, see what
yeah,
they're up to.
yeah, that's been my latest new music addition.
Nice.
And then let's see what else. Um, then just kind of like some random songs here and there that
Sure.
like that have come through. But that's kind of been the main artist that I've really explored lately. So
Are
yeah.
you the type of artist that tries to avoid listening to music while making your own music so that it doesn't like super influence? I know there's a lot of like back and
Oh,
forth on that.
that's interesting. No, I'm always listening because I feel
Okay.
like I get so much inspiration from other artists.
Hmm.
Speaking of, so okay, can follow up to your question. So
Yeah.
two other artists that I really love that I've been listening to a lot is Sasha Sloan. I really like her. She's
Cool.
amazing. And then Kim Petras. I love her. Her
Sounds
voice is so
familiar.
amazing. So she's on that track. It's a Kygo track called
Okay.
Broken Glass.
That
Yeah,
might
Broken
that's
Glass is the
probably
track.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
her voice is amazing. I think like the next song that I want to do, like that I'm in the middle of writing, I'm like, that's gonna be like that. It's gonna have that
That's
vibe.
the vibe. That's the vibe for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. I will check that out and I will check everything else out as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one last question for you here.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, for the person that is going to discover you from this, and for the person that is going to dive into your music for the first time,
Yeah.
what is a message that you would like to pass off to them as they dig into you for the first time?
I love that. Um, okay. So I guess really the main message I would say is like pretty much every song that they will hear is a song that I wrote about something pretty deep and emotional that did happen to me. Like it's all from real life. Like so you're hearing like you're straight up hearing pieces of my soul recorded on Spotify or like recorded in a studio and now on Spotify. So that yeah, they're hearing pretty authentic stuff. Even if it is poppy, and I know sometimes pop music has a little bit of a I don't know, a little bit of a bad reputation. Like it's considered like really shallow and surfacey, but like
Eh,
my pop music isn't. So if you want something that's a little bit deep and more emotional, my music is definitely gonna fill that need for you.
awesome. You've
Yeah.
convinced me. I'm in. Fan for
Yeah.
life.
Aw, yay.
Sweet. Marina, thank you so, so, so much for taking the time out of your day and for your super
Yeah,
in depth and thoughtful answers. For
totally.
everyone else out there, Sunsets and Rieslings is out. Listen to it, follow her, and stay tuned for what I can only assume we're going to see more releases coming in the coming weeks, months, years. So stay tuned for it.
Yay. Thank you so much, Austin.
Awesome. You're so welcome. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye bye.